Again everyone, this is Siobhan from The Healthy Way, and this is a quick video about taking small steps to achieve your goals. I haven't done a lot of preparation for this video, but I set myself the goal of creating one video every week for 2017, and this is me keeping my promise to myself and taking one of the small steps that are necessary for me to hit my goals this year. At the moment, I am reading a book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life, and I would definitely recommend it. All of us have emotional baggage that can stop us from reaching our goals, the goals that we set ourselves, whether they are career goals, relationship goals, financial goals, diet goals, whatever it is that you're struggling with. I'm only on page 50 at the moment, but I've already had so many aha moments, and one of them came when I read this paragraph that I want to share with you today about how impatience is just another form of resistance. So as Louise says, if you want to move into another room, you have to get up and move step by step in that direction. Just sitting in your chair and demanding that you be in another room doesn't work. It's the same thing. We all want our problems to be over with, but we don't want to do the small things that will add up to the solution. So I thought that was really powerful because it does take small steps. You can't just decide that you want to go there, and no matter how much you kick and scream and demand and think and contemplate, until you actually start taking the steps, you're never going to get into the next room. You're never going to get to your goals. It's all about the action that you take because of the thoughts. So I can tell you, having worked with hundreds of clients, that I do encounter this thinking all of the time. People want to lose weight and be at their goal weights the second they have the first healthy meal, and that's just not how it works. Impatience only causes us to give up out of frustration, and when we do that, we never learn the lessons that we need to learn to improve and to move. So it's like Einstein says, you can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it. So again, if the thinking that has, for example, created a weight problem or created a financial problem, a lot of the time it's passivity. So you're thinking, well, eventually the money will build up, or maybe it's basically someone will come and knock on your door and offer you a job, or one day the weight will, one day you'll get on with losing the weight, and that's just not how it works. That's the thinking that created the problem. So if you're constantly throwing in a towel because things aren't happening on the time scale that you decided, you're choosing every time to go back to square one. So for example, if I want to be a doctor, but every time I decide, basically, if I want to be a doctor, but I decide in year 2 of my studies that it isn't happening fast enough, that I should already be a doctor by now, so I drop out, and I do this every few years, when will I qualify as a doctor? I will never qualify, because I'll only ever get to year 2. Every time I get to year 2, I decide, no, that's not quick enough, I want to be a doctor now, and I drop out. If I did that for hundreds of years, I would still never be a doctor, because you can't do that with that level of experience. You have to have seen it all the way through. But if I go in with a realistic time frame and commit to seeing it through, however long it takes, because it's what I want to do and it's what I want to achieve, then I'll progress so much further beyond that first year and actually reach my goal, and in way less time than if I started over from scratch every single time. And again, to bring it back to weight loss, because I am a weight loss expert, but it applies to everything. If you only get to week 3 or 4 of a program, or you get to week 2 of going to the gym and then you give up, you're never going to get to the point where it becomes natural. So again, it's about being realistic and committing to the journey, and not just deciding that the minute you want results, snapping your fingers and getting there. So the only way to the end is to accept that yes, you won't wake up tomorrow and magically have a thriving business or a tiny waist or your dream job. But when you do reach your goal, it will be all the more meaningful, because you will have created a set of habits, and so then you'll just have to keep doing what you're doing to get to the end. So that's the goal. The goal is not really to be able to tick off your box that, yeah, you got to the size or whatever. Really, the goal is to be able to get to a point where your habits naturally get you there. That you naturally are working on the things that you decide are important. You're naturally eating the things that are good for you. You're naturally wanting to walk. And that only happens when you put in the hard graft at the start. So we're only in January, but you can see how quickly the days are flying. It's January 20th today, and that's just insane to me. New Year's feels like yesterday, but you can see how the rest of the months are going to go the same. We're almost a 12th of the way through the year. in the blink of an eye. But if you commit to that set of habits and do not give yourself that time scale, if you lost, as I say probably every video I'll ever make, if you lost £1 a week, you would have £52 in a year. You know, if you wrote 1 blog post a week, you would have 52 at the end of the year. All of these things, it's not the immediate results, it's the accumulation of all of the different habits. But you can, so time is flying, but you can make it count. And if you do that, you won't recognize yourself this year. So thank you again for watching this video. As I said, it was a very on the cuff one, but I have to keep this promise that I set to myself of making one every week. So again, like I said, this is me walking the walk. I hope this is of some use to you and that it really inspires you to get going, to make that commitment. Maybe you'll go for 2 walks a week. Maybe you will study. Maybe something that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you did always want to be a doctor, and maybe you'll set some time aside this week to look at the steps to do that. Maybe you wanted to be a gym instructor and you're going to Google that now, but to actually take the steps, take that leap from thinking about it and get doing it. So have fun with that. Let me know how you get on in the comments or in a personal message, and you can find me The Healthy Way on Facebook. Have a lovely evening.